Welcome to the Love Doc Podcast. I am your co-host, Raina Butcher, here with our host and my BFF, Dr. Sarah Hensley.
Hi,
what's up?
Oh, not much. Just working, and doing the kid thing, kid activities.
Won't be long. School will be back.
But it doesn't matter because it just gets worse.
Yeah. See,
we have so many
days.
kids, and I love my big family. Like, I always wanted to have a big family. But then after, I did not do well with pregnancy, so I get to have two beautiful kids that I didn't actually have to be pregnant to have. And so that is a blessing, and I love our beautiful family. But I'm not going to lie, 4 kids and like 6 different sports. Mm-hmm. We've got my mom on board. We've got Miss Hannah, our helper, on board, and my husband and I, and we still are running all over the place.
Never sit still.
No.
Sarah's the hardest person to nail down. In fact, I'm
sorry to everybody who's tried to nail me down. I'm so sorry. I do try to prioritize being a mom, above everything else.
You do.
And it's so hard. It's a hard balance being a working mom.
And me, this empty nest time in my life.
Raina's like, I'm always alone. I'm like, I can't go to the bathroom without one of the younger kids being like, Mom, Sarah, they need something. Yeah. And I'm just like,
in fact, when this
go to the bathroom?
Yeah. When this episode airs, I will officially be an empty nester because I moved my son to college this week. So I've had some emotional moments thinking about it for so many reasons, but it's a really unique time in a parent's life. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Mm-hmm. It's bittersweet.
Yes.
So, but I'm trying my best.
I'm going to be old AF when I get to that stage.
I know, and it sucks because I'm like, gosh, now I have all this time freedom, and like Josh and I want to travel. Like we're already planning our next trip.
Yeah.
Like we're already planning our next trip, and we need to plan our next trip with you guys.
Yes, for sure.
So, but anyway, today's episode, we are going to talk about the power of the conscious mind.
Yes.
We have talked about the subconscious mind.
We did. We had a whole episode on the subconscious mind. Operates completely differently than the conscious mind.
Yeah. So break it down for us, Doc. Tell us, what is the conscious mind, and make it simple. Make it simple for us people that just don't.
The conscious mind is the part of the mind you can access. It's your own thoughts. Okay. What's interesting is that they say about 40% of the population does not have a stream of consciousness, which blows my mind. Basically, that means they can't hear their own voice in their head. Their mind is 100% quiet, and they think abstractly. They think in abstract. So they can't, like if you were to walk up to a mirror and say hello to yourself in your brain, they can't do it.
I can't even it's like trying to fathom infinity. Like I can't fathom that. Like I don't even understand it. Like my brain just does not wrap around it.
And I've had, and I'm not going to lie, they tend to be dismissive avoidance because dismissive avoidance are so dissociated. I think that maybe that's what it is. Maybe, I don't know what, I honestly need to dig into this a little bit further of why some people don't have a stream of consciousness. If there's certain genetic predispositions to it, if there's situational, like too much dissociation during development, or what happens. But I have noticed, at least in my practice, and there could be selection bias there, of course, too, but it tends to be more of the dismissive avoidance that don't have the stream of consciousness. Fearful avoidance always have a stream of consciousness, I've learned, because their mind never shuts up. My mind never shuts up.
Same.
It's always talking to me. And what I want people to understand is that you can have a great deal of control over your mind.
That was going to be my next question was, like the difference really between, or how much control does the conscious mind have compared to like the subconscious mind? Okay.
The subconscious mind, if you go back and listen, it might have been like episode 2 or 3.
It was
very early in our start.
It was a good one. It was a really good one.
So the subconscious mind doesn't have language. So the subconscious mind, its language is in feeling of the body. So the tight chest, the shaky hands, the adrenaline in the heart, that's your subconscious mind speaking to you, is in the feeling element of emotion. The conscious mind speaks to you in the thought element of emotion. So emotion is the feelings in the body, like the ache in your chest or the pit in your stomach or the racing heart, plus your thoughts about what is happening in the situation. That is all that the construct of emotion is made up of. Okay, so it has a cognitive piece and what we call an affective piece, or the feeling piece in the body, okay? And so
having control of that is
the subconscious mind speaks in affect. It speaks in feeling, in sensation. And the conscious mind speaks in language, or for some people, language in a more abstract term. Like, it was funny, I was talking to Courtney, the woman who does our eyelashes, and she doesn't have a stream of consciousness, which is interesting. So I was trying really hard to talk to her because I really wanted to deep dive into like, what is it like not to have a stream of consciousness? And she's like, I don't know. It's just like, I think, but it's not in words. It's more abstract, you know? Like if I think of an apple, like I can't just like picture an apple in my brain. Like she doesn't have a mind's eye either. Like the mind's eye is your ability to like have imagery.
Right.
Right. And so the conscious mind is supposed to speak in language. And she's like, well, it does speak in language. I just can't hear it. So it was really hard for me to sort of understand. Which is interesting because
she's AP.
She is AP. Love you, Court. You're AP. And she knows it. She'll laugh.
Yeah, she does.
But, you know, so the conscious mind has language. Some people have a stream of consciousness, meaning they can actually hear the sound. They can hear an inner voice. People that don't have a stream of consciousness can't hear the inner voice, but their thoughts are still language-based. So she, you know, if I say, okay, Courtney, describe what an apple looks like, she would say, it's red, it's round, it has a stem, you know, it's white in the middle, whatever, right? Has a core, has seeds. So there's language to her thought because she can verbalize it. But she doesn't, if I said, say that to yourself in your head, she hears no language. She just has the thought abstractly somehow. And I still don't.
Does she not see it? Does she not?
No. What? So it's one of those things that I think it's like the question of like, is the color blue that I see the same as what you see, right? Like, do we see color imagery? Nobody knows because you can't ever be inside someone's head, right? So we can't know, and that's the thing. And so a stream of consciousness is just audibly hearing an inner voice. You don't hear it outside of yourself. We worry about schizophrenia when we think about audible sounds or audible voices, but it's inside of your head, right? So the conscious mind has language attached to it. Therefore, we can speak back to it, which makes us extremely powerful beings. I went through so much of my life with this idea that I couldn't help how I felt and I couldn't help how I thought. And I truly believed that. I truly believed that, you know, my brain works the way it works. My emotions are the way they are. I'm just a sensitive person, and this is just how I am. And my dad, as messed up as he was, God bless the man, he tried to instill, but he didn't use any of this knowledge. Maybe it's why it didn't stick, because there was no modeling there. It was just a lecture that, you know, you can have power over your mind. And I was like, no, you can't. Like, I can't control the thoughts that I have, and the thoughts are hard. They're crazy. Like, I can't get it out of my head if this happens or that happens or what if or whatnot. And that was so wrong.
Yeah.
And I saw a Tony Robbins video on TikTok today. Love Tony Robbins. Always a big fan of his. He's a huge inspiration. And he said, you know, your life is what you focus on it. And this is not, it is no longer philosophical that you are what you focus on. It's not philosophical anymore. There's actual science behind it. And so psychologists a long time ago created the theory of the self-fulfilling prophecy. I think everybody's kind of heard of this. It's this idea that what we think becomes our actions, and then that brings back to us sort of the reality of what we were thinking in the first place, right? So if I believe I will always be rejected, I'm going to, 1, focus on all the ways I am rejected, and 2, I'm probably going to behave in ways that then cause me to be rejected, which then reinforces the thought that I will always be rejected. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the science of quantum physics now is blowing this way open by saying there is no even, in fact, behavioral mediator that has to happen. So for the self-fulfilling prophecy, it's I have a thought, and then I act in ways that reinforce the outcome to come back to the original thought, right? Again, so if I feel like I'll be rejected, maybe I act awkwardly, which then makes me rejected, which then reinforces that I'm going to be rejected, right? Quantum physics is saying, no, you don't even have to have the behavior. It's just the thought. And let me break this down, because I went down the rabbit hole with this, one night, and I am a rabbit hole person. I'm just one of those people
Well, you're a researcher. You're a scientist.
Yes, I'm a scientist, right? I'm a researcher. And when you are trained as a researcher, research isn't just gathering knowledge. It is producing knowledge. It is collecting data to produce knowledge, right? To develop theory and test hypotheses. And so I'm a trained researcher. I'm an experimentalist at heart. And so I like to read actual scientific papers. I'm a super nerd. That's how I became an attachment expert. I read the actual scientific papers. I wasn't just reading like websites, right? And so that's where I nerd out, is I can actually go and I can look at the design of the study, and I can look at who's funding the study, and I can try to see, are there limitations to this research? Is there bias? Is there flaws in the design, etc.? And so that allows me the skill of distinguishing good research from bad research, right? And there's a lot of really good, really solid science around what I'm about to break down. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because I am a social psychologist. I am not a physicist, okay? Specifically, I'm not a quantum physicist, okay? So this is...
We need to have one on as a guest. That would be really interesting.
That would be so cool. Because honestly, it's a little above my pay grade. I'm not going to lie, okay? So when you're starting to talk molecular science... my brain's just like, huh? Like, give me the cliff notes, right? Yeah. Give me, I'll read the discussion section of the paper, but not gonna lie, okay?
Yeah.
I try to look at methodology, and I try to look at it from an experimentalist standpoint of like, okay, there's a sort of criteria that all the scientific method rests upon. So like, are we using, these scientific principles? Are we using the scientific principles of experimentation, like, having a placebo or whatever it is? I know the foundational stuff when it comes to quantum physics, but in terms of like, how do you really look at an atom? I don't know. I don't really understand the microscopes. Like, I don't understand those things. But here's what I do know. We are all made up of atoms, and inside of those atoms are smaller bits, right? And all of those smaller bits are moving in different directions. And every atom has, from what I understand, infinite possibilities of how it can behave. Infinite. Again, how do we conceptualize infinity? I do not know. But it apparently can behave in infinite ways. And your thoughts will change the direction in which the atoms that you are made of and the atoms around you are spinning. So, if essentially every possibility for you and your life exists all at once, based upon how the atoms decide to spin, your mind controls the direction of that spin. So we are our consciousness therefore then creates our reality at a molecular level. So we change the way that the atoms spin based upon our focus and our intent and our emotion attached to it. And here's what is super interesting. If we want to talk about quote unquote manifestation, which I do not believe in, because I believe that it is not the universe that brings us things. It is the creator of the universe that set a design in motion, and that design just plays out. Like, there are rules to God's design, in my opinion, okay? So I believe that manifestation, in the way that God designed it, is real. I don't believe it's something that we create organically from in us. I believe that we can tap into the power of God's laws of the universe and use them to our advantage. That is my particular opinion, because that is sort of how I reconcile, like, that the law of attraction is real, but it's God's law. God designed the universe for the law of attraction to be real. It's not something that the universe holds organically on its own without God's design and power, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
So what is the science of quote unquote manifestation, which I believe is just the law of attraction, which I think is the way that God designed the universe, which gives us so much power, essentially, because one of my favorite verses, 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God did not give you a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a sound mind." And so I have a sweatshirt that even says that on. I'm about to get it probably tattooed on me because it is a verse.
She's getting a tattoo.
I've never had one. I'm like the unicorn, right?
Yeah.
It keeps holding me back because I'm like, not to get off on another tangent, but I'm just like this unicorn that doesn't have any tattoos.
Yeah, there's few of you all left.
Anybody that doesn't have any tattoos. I literally don't know a single person.
You and Kearney are the only two I know.
And so it's
Seriously.
just one of those things where I have needle phobia and I've just never been brave enough to do it. It's really not that I don't think they're cool. I think they're super cool.
Yeah.
I'm a needle phobic and it's scary to me. Okay, speaking of the mind, it's all in my head. My needle phobia is, and I proved that to myself because last time I got Botox, I didn't pass out, and that was last week. So
I'm so proud of you.
I know, because I was like, you know what? If this mind stuff is real, then it's mind over freaking matter,
Absolutely.
Sarah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a needle phobe for the rest of your life, right? It is a vagal tone response to the fear. It's a fear response, right?
Yep.
So I was like, nope, mind over matter. So what did I do? I used my freaking tools that I teach other people. I was like, duh, apply it here, Sarah. You don't have to pass out from your Botox. And I didn't. You can ask my injector.
Yeah, I'm sure Sarah, our injector, was like, thank God.
I know. I'm going to get the smelly salts out for this one again. Because I'll have to take a break. I'll be like, I'm about to pass out, Sarah. I'm about to pass out. She'll be like, okay, we'll take a break. We'll stop. You know, and where I used to go before I met Sarah, they would get the smelly salts out every single time.
Immediately.
They did and alcohol pads to get, to wake me up.
Yeah.
I've passed out in front of you before.
Oh my gosh. Terrifying.
I think we've told that story on the pod before.
It was terrifying.
Anyway, that's part of my nature. I will go down.
You're a passer-outer.
I am a passer-outer. Anywho, so basically this law of attraction is this idea that our thoughts change the molecular spinning, and we are all made of atoms, and everything around us is made of atoms, and those atoms are made of smaller things. And so when we can direct the spin of the atoms, which create a certain reality at any given point in time. So essentially,
it blows my mind.
Our life is made up of infinite possibilities at every given second.
And infinite power.
And yeah, think about that.
Infinite power.
Right? Which is like, how did the disciples have the power to heal when they weren't Jesus? Well, they tapped into the power that Jesus has granted upon us. Through our belief and our faith. And this is where I was going. I'm glad I went back to that because I probably would have lost my train of thought. I do that a lot lately. I think it's perimenopause.
Yeah.
Or just being really busy. But they have found that the way that the reality is actually created is directly correlated to the depth of the belief in the outcome. So that is why faux belief doesn't work. Like, if you believe I'm going to win the lottery, but in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
You're not going to win the lottery.
Yeah.
They actually have done studies that show that the people that have won the lottery, like, truly believe that someday they're going to win the lottery. Like, the depth of their belief is wholehearted.
Like at the cellular level.
At the cellular level, like the atomic level. Which is like the smallest form of matter inside the atoms, right? The smallest form of matter. And so essentially, when I look at my life, and we did some episodes on my life story, which is sort of like I've just had a ton of trauma. I don't know how else to describe it. If you haven't listened to those episodes, I've just had a lot of life trauma. And my life changed extremely quickly. And within a year, my life was top to bottom different.
Yeah.
In terms of my personality, in terms of how my nervous system functioned, in terms of my love life, in terms of my finances, 100% different. And I really have to think about what was the biggest shift. And the biggest shift was learning through Ashley and Be in Health and science, all combined, of the power of being able to observe the mind. So we aren't sort of born and naturally developed with the power to observe our stream of consciousness. Science shows it's actually kind of a skill.
Right.
That can be learned. Kind of like we're not born knowing how to ride a bike.
Right.
We get on the bike and we try and we practice, and then all of a sudden it's muscle memory. Observing your mind works the same way. And this is one of the fundamental skills that I teach in my hybrid group. So, I'm kind of revealing, I'm not gatekeeping here. I have a lot of specific strategies to teach to observe your mind, but the power of observation is a skill that you can learn. So you can learn to sort of have a thought And then there's another part of your consciousness that comes in and observes it and has some evaluation of that thought. Most people just go through their lives and like they have all of these thoughts. Every thought you have speaks to your nervous system. Every single thought you have tells your nervous system, am I safe in this moment or am I not safe in this moment? And so most people are just passive victims of their thoughts.
Right.
That's why I always believed that I had no control.
And believing that all your thoughts are true is really dangerous.
So dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Listen, I have thoughts all the time that I'm like, dang, that's not nice. That's not good. Not today, Satan. You're not getting in my head.
You know, I think it's important to emphasize here, because a lot of people will say, well, this is just how I feel and my feelings are valid. And
I want to, like, nothing makes me more mad than that
one
statement.
thing that you talk a lot about in your content is that
not all feelings are valid.
That's right.
They're not. They're not.
You can't believe every feeling and every thought and every emotion.
Follow your life just following your feelings and see where you get.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, take the road if from now on you use no logic and you just follow your feelings and see where you end up. You're going to end up like a drug addict.
Yeah.
Okay? Or you're going to end up
in victimhood.
Here's what I will say. It's nuanced. Not all feelings are valid, but all feelings must be felt without judgment.
Yes.
And then critically evaluated. Okay? Like the thought piece of emotion needs to be critically evaluated. The feelings piece of emotion, we need to just feel, confront, and move on from. And when we actually do feel and confront them, especially if we're using strategies to garner safety that are both telling the brain that, yes, we are feeling and this feels uncomfortable, but guess what? We're still safe. That's what I teach, right? And we have some science behind how to teach that. And I do teach that in my hybrid group, and it's a game changer because we have to feel our emotions to completion. But emotions are one half your thoughts and one half your feelings. So when I say all feelings are valid, I mean all emotions aren't valid, right? The feelings aspect of emotion, that is happening from your nervous system, and it is happening so quickly that you're never going to be able to completely stop having feelings or having negative feelings.
Right. You can't deny that it's not happening.
But there's an interpretation of those feelings, right? What is this feeling and what does it mean about me and my life? That is what can be invalid, right? Our interpretation of what we are experiencing and what it means for us in our life, right? So, for example, my husband might be having a bad day and maybe he says something and I think it's a little rude, right? Shit happens, right? Yeah. And so I can experience a negative emotion like rejection, right?
Right.
Rejection is going to come with tightness in my chest, a pit in my stomach, and then it's going to come in with thoughts of, well, what in the hell did I do to you? Why are you doing this to me? I didn't do anything. Why are you being rude? You're such a jerk. Let's break that down. What does that tell my nervous system? If I hang on to that thought, what does it tell my nervous system? It tells my nervous system, well, you have two options here. You either can stay married to this jerk who's rude, or you can get a divorce. You're stuck between the rock of the pain of detachment and the hard place of suffering. My nervous system says there's no escape from that. It's suffering any direction I go. So of course, then you're going to get anxiety. Of course, you're going to become more dysregulated. And then you're more likely to operate in your trauma response. Then I would be more likely to blurt out, what in the hell is your problem? Why are you being so rude? Which might start a fight, right? But when you have the power of observation, it gives you a pause. Because again, there's the me that thinks, sure, that comes through my head. God, what a jerk. What in the hell is your problem? But then there's the second me that comes in and says, hold on, Sarah. He's not a jerk. You love this man. Yes, he said something that you didn't like. No, that didn't feel good. You didn't like it. I'm not gaslighting myself.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's all okay when it's not. Sure. I'm being honest with myself when I said, ooh, that didn't feel good. But it gives me the pause to not go down the rabbit hole of you're such a jerk and that was so unwarranted.
Or get super defensive.
And get defensive, because that's just dysregulating my nervous system. It is speaking to my nervous system, telling my nervous system, you're under threat. So how do I combat that? Well, with the power of observation, I can be like, that's not true. He's not a jerk, but I didn't love what he just said. Let me get curious about what could be going on.
Yeah.
Right? So then I can come in with, hey, babe, Your energy feels a little off. Is everything okay with you? Are you upset about anything?
Mm-hmm.
And then I can trust, again, this is part of having a secure relationship. I am not responsible for his emotions. I'm only responsible for the environment that I create.
Mm-hmm.
So me coming in with curiosity is creating an environment of peace and of loving observation and of vulnerability and an opportunity for connection, an opportunity for him to share his feelings.
Yeah.
What the hell is your problem does not really invite someone in to be vulnerable.
Right.
It invites someone's defensiveness in. It feels like an attack. And so when I can get curious, then I can get that it probably didn't have anything to do with me. Maybe he's hot. He just walked in from outside and he's just hot. And he's just like, I'm sorry, I was just a little snappy. I'm just burning up and exhausted over here. Okay. You're allowed to be human. There, you had a human moment. Had nothing to do with me.
Right.
But when we do not have the power of observation and we are a victim to our thoughts will speak dysregulation into our nervous system. It will speak a certain story into our nervous system that we hold on to. And that story can be so painful. People break their own hearts every day unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
Like, for example, when you have a dismissive avoidant partner and they're withdrawing, you can tell yourselves two very different stories about that. One is, I'm not loved. They don't care about me. If they loved me, they would come back and repair this. Another thought is, wow, this doesn't feel good to me. I need to have repair, but I know that this is their trauma response and I can't control it. All I can do is have conversations about my needs and then hold boundaries around them, right? That's all the power that you have.
Yeah.
And so which one is going to break your heart? I'm not loved.
Yeah.
I'm rejected. They don't care about me. They don't want this relationship. Or the other conversation is they lack capacity. Can I set boundaries around them trying to gain capacity? And then if they can't, my boundaries will have to step up until I'm out the door because I won't be in a relationship with someone who can't repair conflict, right? But when you tell yourself you're not loved, what do you try to do? Prove that you're worthy of the love.
Right.
You try harder.
Right.
Instead of accepting someone's lack of capacity and deciding if it's a deal breaker for you and using your boundaries as a way to protect yourself from their lack of capacity, you make it about you. And what your worth is.
Yeah.
And then,
Happens
course,
all the time.
Of course, you're dysregulated. And then when you're dysregulated, you will operate in a trauma response. And so that is the hallmark of insecure attachment.
Yeah.
So that's why healing attachment, you have to have power over your mindset.
Yeah.
You have to. And that power of observation is a muscle. It takes a while to develop.
So we got to talk about Cozy Earth because we love it so much.
We love Cozy Earth.
We are all about the sleep here at the Love Doc.
Yes, because sleep is such a foundational point to your health. And I don't know what it
everything.
is about growing older that your sleep just starts to suck. And I went through a period of my life where my sleep was awful, and now my sleep is buck. And Cozy Earth is a big part of that.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
their sheets are viscous from bamboo. And when you want to talk about soft and silky and luxurious, and they do not pill when you wash them, they stay soft. I cannot brag on their sheets enough.
How are they different from other sheets, would you say?
I would say one is just the softness and like the silkiness. It's like softness and silkiness combined. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
You just have to feel it.
And the cooling feeling.
And it's a cooling effect. And you move around on them well. You slide around on them well, right? It's not like you have like satin sheets where you're like slipping off your bed.
And they don't ball up.
Yeah.
I do not like those little balls.
That's the pills, right? So it's called pilling, and they don't do that, which makes the sheet rough. And so you always have the smooth sheet, which is really great. They hold up so great in the laundry.
They get better with washes,
They're
I think.
fantastic.
Yeah. They actually also have a 100-day sleep guarantee. So you can sleep on them for 100 days. And if you're not 100% satisfied, you can send them back and get all your money back.
That's amazing. That's a company that absolutely believes in the product.
Yeah.
And here at the Love Doc, we only endorse what we truly believe in, what we use, what we swear by.
Yep.
That was our agreement when we started this podcast that we weren't going to sell out, even though, maybe we'd be richer if we sold out, but we're not going to.
Some weird requests.
We've had some extremely weird requests, but Cozy Earth is not one of them. No. And they actually just sent us their Cuddle Bubble blanket, which to me is fantastic. It is a little bit of a heavier blanket, which gives you that nervous system calming effect. It's not a true weighted blanket. It won't suffocate you, but it's just enough to really feel relaxed, and it is so soft, and it's big, and it's one of my new favorite blankets. My special place to retreat is we have 2 recliners in our room. So we have a pretty big master, and then in front of the bed, we actually stole this from the people that owned the house before. This is how they had it laid out. We have 2 very small sort of like recliners, and then we have like a coffee table in front. So we have like a little living room in our bedroom. And my new favorite blanket to be in my chair is my Cuddle Bubble blanket from Cozy Earth. So thank you so much, Cozy Earth. You can receive a fantastic discount. Raina, tell us about the discount.
40% off with promo code LOVEDOC at checkout, which is that's our most so generous. It's our most generous code. And Cozy Earth, their sheets were named one of Oprah's favorite things.
Yes, and I know the Kardashians use them too. Yeah. So if they're good enough for the Kardashians, they will absolutely be good enough for us peons, right?
Yes.
And they're my favorite.
Me too.
What I ordered last time was a set for the camper because again, I was like, these regular sheets suck. Yeah. Now that you've used Cozy Earth, you can't go back.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like once you have nice things like that, you just can't go back. But Cozy Earth's pricing, I think, is pretty reasonable, especially with the 40% off.
Yeah, and they have a 10-year warranty.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
It's huge. They stand by their products. Yeah. I love people that stand by their products.
Well, it just goes to say that the investment is worth it.
It's worth it, right? 100%.
Good stuff ain't, hold on, what does Josh say all the time? I got to get it right. Cheap stuff ain't good, and good stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah. But with the discount, it does make it price friendly.
Yes, it does. So go check them out. Use promo code LOVEDOG for 40% off. So what's the difference in terms of gaining that control of the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind?
The subconscious mind only learns through experience, and it's feeling to experience, and the experience.
So conscious is observation.
Conscious is observation.
Okay.
Subconscious
is experience.
Is experience. Okay. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the subconscious learns and creates its own imprints or its own, quote, memories from experience, from feeling, because felt experiences is how we essentially create the database for our subconscious mind.
The neural connections.
Right. Yeah.
It's the imprints in the brain.
So the subconscious mind is like this database of all of your past experiences and how it felt in your body. Okay. So that's why, like, when we were kids and we were dismissed, we felt that in our body, right? Or when we were kids and we were yelled at or spanked, or, there were things that happened to us, we felt it in our body. So those imprints then wire into the subconscious, which then the subconscious's job is to keep you safe and make sure that you are surviving. And the intimate connections we have are so much of a part of our survival. The human survival strategy is built upon connection.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's why the safety space of our nervous system, which is called ventral vagal, is nicknamed the state of social engagement. It's nicknamed that because when we feel safe, we desire to connect. And so having the power of your mind to tell yourself the most objective truths, and to recognize when there are stories there that aren't based in truth. They're not valid, right? It's not valid to tell yourself, well, I'm not loved. Yeah. Because, every couple I've ever worked with a DA partner has said, I always ask them, do you love your wife? Do you love your husband? I love them so much. Of course I love them.
Right.
But yet the spouse is over here saying, I'm not loved.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yes, because their trauma responses are creating a story in you that you're not loved. And yes, let's be honest, it's not meeting your needs.
Sure.
Right? And it doesn't feel like love to you. And we can be honest about that. But it doesn't mean that their subjective experience is not love.
Right. Right.
They do love you in the way that they have the capacity to. The problem is their low capacity to love in a healthy way. So that doesn't mean I'm telling you to stay with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept low capacity, but you also don't have to break your own heart and tell yourself it's because you are somehow not enough or unworthy or defective or whatever.
This is why it's so important, like, especially in your practice and coaching from the lens of attachment, because I get a lot of messages where people kind of want to skip over that part.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck coming to security.
Yeah. Like, and you really can't, because in order to understand yourself on a deep level and understand others, specifically your partner, you have to have that strong foundational understanding of all the different attachments and what they mean and what it looks like.
Yeah.
So that you don't break your own heart.
Right. So awareness helps with that, right? Yeah. When people become aware that their partner isn't just trying to be mean by shutting down, they're not trying to stonewall you because they're mean. They're stonewalling you because their nervous system is so frozen. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. And frozen is a state freeze or a dorsal vagal shutdown is a state of immobility. It's a state of I can't, right? It's a state of dissociation or disconnection.
I don't know.
I don't know, right? That's why DAs say I don't know. When you ask them how they feel, they're frozen. They don't know. They can't access their emotions.
Yep.
They're dissociated from them.
Yeah.
So yes, they don't know. They have no idea.
They really don't know.
They really are
numb. That doesn't mean you have to accept it if they continue to choose to not know.
Right. Because this is the thing. That's why I think my very first mega viral social media post was debunking if they wanted to, they would. Because it's not a want issue. Yeah. It's a capacity issue.
Yeah.
And I know we've had a whole episode on that, right? Yeah. So I don't want to repeat myself too much.
There was a whole movie on it. Like, he's just not that into you. You could debunk that whole movie.
Yeah. And so all I will say is, like, in the dating phases of relationships, okay, maybe somebody's not that into you. Maybe they're not that physically attracted to you after a date. And then, they don't want to. But we're talking about long-term relationships. We're talking about there's already been lots of intimacy. There's already been a life built with this person, or a relationship with significant attachment built with this person. They don't all of a sudden one day be like, you know what? I never really loved you. I've just been here for shits and giggles. No.
Yeah.
Please. No, absolutely not. They don't just stop wanting to. It's not how it works. It's their nervous system becomes so dysregulated into their unique attachment trauma responses over time that they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's sort of like for the dismissive avoidance, like running a marathon. Like, how do your knees feel in mile 1 versus like mile 10 or mile whatever, you know? They wear out over time. Their nervous system wears out over time. So because they don't have capacity.
For those partners who maybe are getting that response from their significant other, like, because I think that happens a lot. I know that I've spoken to people who've come into your practice, one in particular that's coming to mind, where, her husband had come to her and just said, I don't love you. I never did love you. And you're talking about people who had been married for over 10 years, shared 3 children together. And he was just kind of checking out. And I want to be careful how I say this, because of course in her experience, I think she was using maybe some of your practices and the knowledge and your content to kind of excuse that behavior. And so I ask this because I think it's something that probably a lot of people deal with. And so when is it okay to excuse it and not excuse it?
Yeah. So it's never okay to excuse it. It's okay to understand it and have empathy around it, but never excusing it.
Yeah.
So I would say that is not the most common situation that I see. The most common situation by far is the DA saying, of course I love my wife, or of course I love my husband. Have I seen cases where people come in and say, I don't love my partner? Yeah, but I've seen it from all different attachment styles, right? So people can fall out of love, but if they fall out of love, they get a divorce. The people that stay when they still love their partner, that's why they stay, right? So when somebody comes up and says, I don't love you, I never loved you, I want a divorce, okay, maybe that person's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Because it would take, honestly, some sociopathic-like dissociation to have built a life and had children with somebody that you never, ever, ever loved.
Yeah, and then to be able to say it out loud.
I'm not buying it. You know what I am buying? That person deactivated, and their deactivating thoughts are so strong. And we know dismissive avoidance, they're deactivating.
He was also having an affair, for the record.
There you go, right? Okay, so again, feelings are so transient. That's why you can't follow them, right? That's why we feel them and then decide. We don't just follow the feeling, we feel, and then we use discernment. And so I think this person probably wasn't feeling. It was probably a dismissive avoidant who was deactivated in the relationship, totally numb to partner, totally feels like partner was the root of all of their pain and woes and problems. And
meanwhile,
then
low stakes affair
partner comes
really
in,
good.
makes them feel like a brand new person.
So predictable.
And then they, say, oh, I never loved you because you don't make me feel like the affair partner. They did in the beginning. I know they did.
Yeah.
That's why the DA fantasizes about their exes. They literally, phantom ex syndrome is so real for the DA. They fantasize about their ex. I'm sitting here like, I know my DA partner's fantasizing about me. I'm just kidding. My exes, no, I do not care if they are or they aren't because I love my husband and I couldn't care less, honestly. But it's true. They fantasize about their exes. And I even know when I was dating a dismissive avoidant, I know he was still had it for his ex. But he didn't during the divorce. He didn't during the relationship. It was only, and why is it? It's only because when they truly become unavailable that it feels safe to have those feelings for them. That's how their nervous system works, right? When someone is unavailable, that's when they start feeling for them.
That's why people are so perplexed and enthralled with the DA. And I mean, it actually enthralls me because for so many reasons, like, that's a painful place to be.
So painful. Like, the DA has a ton of pain. They just have this brilliant ability to dissociate from it, which most of us don't have. Most people walking around with any other attachment style, secure or fearful or anxious, preoccupied, they may have some dissociative ability. I'd say the AP has the least amount. But they can't stay there for as long as the DA. The DA can live like their whole life there, which is very, very interesting to me because when you're cut off from negative pain, you're cut off from joy, right? Joy is a state of safety and safety is a state of joy. They're intertwined. And so the DA's deactivating thoughts are what is taken over here. The I don't love you and I never loved you is a deactivating thought. It's a thought coming from the wounds around intimacy that are trying to push someone who learned that intimacy ultimately leads to dismissal or rejection away from intimacy. Right? Because, I'm sorry, 6 months with an affair partner isn't intimacy. I don't care how much you've talked about things. I don't care how much you've had sex with them. You don't know them.
It's not real.
You don't know them yet.
You're living in a fake kind of world anyway.
The pressures aren't there yet in the first 6 months.
I mean, not to bring it up because it's been so viral, but I mean, think about the CEO at the Coldplay concert.
That guy is a whole, shoo.
I mean, that whole situation, I think, and
even the wife's letter showed insecurity. It showed I'm sorry, but she was coming across as like, so I don't care. So you're a clown. And that was fueled by complete and utter
I didn't read it.
Bitterness. Oh, girl, you got to Google it.
Hold on. The CEO's wife, her
Put
letter?
out a statement.
Oh.
You should read her statement. Pull it up. Read it.
Okay.
Google it. They do this on like Joe Rogan. They pull stuff up. We need somebody that can pull stuff up real quick. We need a little helper.
Yeah, a little.
We need Andy Byron.
Is that his name?
Byron, I think.
Might be quicker on ChatGPT. Andy Byron, Byron,
I believe. I'm sorry if I misspelled that. Read his wife's statement.
Let's read it.
Yep, and you tell me what you think of it.
Let's see.
This is my opinion. It's not defamation. It's my opinion.
Yes. She's thinking. Chatty's thinking.
Chatty, come on, Chatty.
While she's thinking, I was just going to say, like...
See if I can pull it up, too.
Hold on.
I'm just going to Google.
Oh, yeah. To those who expect tears, I don't cry for clowns. I schedule.
Let's see. Let's read the whole statement.
Yeah, this is just a piece.
All right, let's see.
I document, I rebuild. She sounds crazy.
Listen, formal statement from Megan Byron. Let's see. And of course it won't.
Is it thinking?
It's blurry. Why? Okay, here we go. Come on, Instagram. Don't fail me now. Okay. It has come to my attention, and apparently to the attention of half the internet, that my husband, Andrew Byron, has made certain ... choices, public ones, under stadium lights, during a Coldplay concert, a venue not typically associated with infidelity, but here we are. Let me be perfectly clear. I am not issuing this statement in defense, nor in heartbreak. I am issuing it in power, in precision, in silk gloves and sharpened wit. I will not be engaging in performative forgiveness, nor am I interested in the optics of, quote, grace. What Andy has done is not just humiliating. It's banal. It's common. A man of ambition brought down by his own astonishing lack of imagination. I have retained counsel. I have reviewed holdings. I have reallocated what was once, quote, ours into what is now very cleanly mine. I am not spiraling, I am ascending, and while Andy may have quoted Coldplay in his statement, I will simply say, when the lights went out, I saw everything clearly. To those who expect tears, I don't cry for clowns, I schedule, I document, I rebuild. This is not revenge, it's refinement, and he will feel it in the silence that follows.
I actually think that's really powerful.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Really? Mm-hmm. Why?
Because I think it's not authentic.
You think deep down she's really hurting?
I think she's in a ton of pain. Of course, she contradicted herself in the entire statement. This was humiliating, but I don't care. You're telling me you felt humiliated, but then you don't care? That is a complete and utter contradiction in and of itself.
Yeah.
I think that is a woman who is very, very angry and who wants to portray herself as someone who isn't angry, who is unbothered by the fact that she was publicly humiliated all over the internet by her husband. Mm-hmm. You just mentioned the word humiliating, but then you also say, but it's common, so what? I don't cry for clowns. I'm not buying that you didn't shed a tear, my dear. And I'm not about to knock her down because, look, in my opinion, her husband is kind of a scumbag.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I don't like cheaters, okay? Because and why do I think he's a scumbag? Not just for cheating, people cheat, okay? But his statement in response
lacked accountability.
And that's why I think he's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, he could have fallen on the sword.
He could have fallen on the sword. He could have said what I did.
And he absolutely should have.
He should have. He could have said what I did was unacceptable. I realize now that I've hurt so many people and I'm so deeply sorry for everybody I hurt.
Maybe their marriage sucked.
Maybe it did.
Maybe she's like, thank God.
Maybe. You know what? I'm willing to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
But I think that I read pain disguised as power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you're
I think
intuitive in that for sure.
I think there's enough, like if this were me and I was Megan Byron, right? And I had to put out a statement because listen, my husband cheated all over the place and everybody knew but me. Okay. I would say, wow, this is really, really painful and it does feel humiliating. And right now I'm really sad. And right now I feel kind of like I don't know what's coming for me and how this is going to feel in 2 weeks and 2 months and 2 years. But ultimately I believe in myself enough to know that I'm going to make it through.
Yeah.
I think that's more authentic than I'm going to put on my silk gloves and review our holdings and not cry for clowns.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if the clowns, though, refer to, maybe it's twofold, like refers to her husband and all the internet trolls.
Yeah. I mean, that could definitely be it for sure. But here's what I'm saying, right? I don't know how we got off on this tangent.
Yeah, we were just, I don't know either, but
here's
we can
the thing.
pull it back to the conscious mind.
The conscious mind, I think that was her conscious mind trying to override her subconscious mind, which was probably saying, wow, this is a huge, humiliating rejection.
Yeah, and it hurts.
And it hurts, right? And again, it's the story that we tell ourselves. And I don't think her story was authentic. I'm just not getting that vibe. But again, I know jack nothing about the intricacies of their marriage.
Right.
So maybe she's over it. Maybe she detached from the marriage long ago.
I mean, we said in an earlier episode, we were
maybe
like,
there was an infidelity clause in her prenup. I don't know.
We wanted our exes to cheat on us so that we could get out. Maybe that's how she feels.
Maybe. And in that case, I will completely retract.
Right.
My opinion.
But I think you make a very valid point because it does seem a little over the top. And and what's going to sort of bite her in the butt possibly about a statement like that is you don't really know what's coming for you in terms of the emotional pain that you'll feel through the process of a huge divorce that I can only imagine what that will look like for them publicly and financially. You don't know what's to come. And so she may feel things that she's never felt before after the fact that she made this really powerful statement.
To me, that reads emotional suppression.
Yeah.
It just reads suppression. It just reads, I don't care. I'm going to move on. I'm powerful and whatever. It's behind me now.
Yeah.
And you know what, girl? I don't know if you've gone through a divorce before, but there are many layers and stages of what you will feel when you go through a divorce.
Yeah.
Even far beyond when it's final.
Yeah.
And so to me, you know what? But maybe that's what she needed to do to feel like she could save face, to feel like she did have some power.
Or just get to the next step.
Right? But I think that was a curated conscious story. I don't think it was an objective truth. And what I'm trying to teach people to do is to come to an objective truth.
Right.
If something
no
hurts
matter how vulnerable.
No matter how vulnerable. If something hurts you, admit that it hurts.
With no shame.
With no shame. This hurts. And what am I going to do about it?
Yeah, because until you admit that, you can't move on from it.
No, you can't. You're suppressing.
Yeah.
You're suppressing.
You're so right. She needs you.
Oh, Meg.
Meg, call her up.
Call me up. I'm here. And I'm not here to knock you. My God, I can't imagine I know what I went through and the humiliation that I felt just knowing that, like, my husband's hometown all knew that he was cheating on me and I didn't know.
The whole
world. I can't even imagine what you're going through. So let me backstep and provide some empathy here. I know she has to be hurting on some level. I mean, even if she wants out of the marriage. Even
if she's just hurting for her children.
I wanted out of my marriage and it was still painful.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So it's not always that black and white. And I just saw a couple the other day where one person in the couple got into the relationship that they were in. It was a couple session immediately post-divorce. And her story was, I grieved the marriage being over for years before it was over. But then I saw the level of attachment dysfunction in the current relationship, and it made me think, but I guess you probably just didn't process. You probably were suppressing, right? Of fearful avoidance and dismissive avoidance can be guilty of suppressing and then moving on without having coped and grieved a past relationship properly at all.
Right.
I've done it, and it ended up disastrous every single time. It always does. And people disagree with me. I think one of the most hated videos I had on the internet was like, give yourself time to grieve a relationship before you jump into a new relationship. So many people came at me. I met my husband while I was still getting a divorce, and we're great. Okay, well, you're probably the exception then. Yeah. Because most of the time people jump into new relationships as a Band-Aid to their pain. Or to a distraction or suppression tool for their pain, depending upon how it's used.
I've never seen somebody the people that I know that have gone from one relationship to another long-term relationship are still suffering in their current relationship.
Yep. My year of healing and grieving and fixing myself was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life, besides accepting Jesus into my heart. Yeah. And having my kids and my husband. But in terms of like, I wouldn't have what I have now if I didn't do that. And so, again, this is where the conscious mind and coming to an objective truth, and my truth is God's word. Yeah. And that's big for me because
that was going to be my next question. So you just answered my next question. Like, in your experience as a coach, like, what's the one conscious mindset shift you can make, like, small, that can transform you?
So first you have to learn the power of observation. And I teach the tools to get there because it's not easy. Yeah. Go through a whole day trying to challenge your thoughts and tell me how many times you actually noticed your own thoughts. Yeah. At first it's going to be like 0. Yeah. And you have to build upon that skill, just like riding a bike. And there's some hacks and there's some tricks that I teach, but ultimately the power of observation has to come first. And then the power of truth-telling has to be there. So you have to have some standard as to what to hold your conscious mind against. Yeah. Right? If people don't want to go there, for me personally, it's Christ's commandments, loving God, loving others, and loving yourself. Right? Like loving others as yourself, which implies you have to love yourself because you can't love other people if you hate yourself. So maybe I should repent saying scumbag, because that's kind of a spirit of accusation. Okay, Satan, in Jesus' name, I just rebuke that and I repent for that, because I don't know the man, and I do what he did was scumbag-ish in his statement. His lack of accountability was not cool with me.
Yeah.
So we'll stick with the behavior instead of the accusation against the person. Okay. So my truth is that, right? And so I try to catch those things, just like I did in this moment. Just right in this moment, I said, wait a second. I just called somebody I don't know a scumbag. That's not loving to my neighbor. I'm going to evaluate the behavior instead of the person, right? I don't like his behavior,
right?
But I don't know him, right? And it's not my job to be in an accusation against him.
And you can hold empathy for him while also not agreeing with what he does. So two things can be true at once.
Absolutely. He's a flawed human, obviously. But lack of accountability bothers me quite a bit, because I'm all about accountability, right? And so I'm going to hold myself accountable here. But if you aren't faith-based and, that's not your jam, you have to have some objective truth. So I tell people, look at your values. Do you consider yourself a kind person? Is that a kind thought? Is that a kind statement? Is that a kind action, right? It starts with a thought. Are you if you're a patient person, right? Are these thoughts being patient? Or if you have to have some line in the sand,
right?
Or else you can convince yourself that literally anything is true. And I think that's the hardest thing for my non-Christian clients is if they, for example, struggle with jealousy, then they might always be focusing on well, what if my partner's cheating? What if this means they're cheating? What if that means they're cheating? And they're like, well, I don't know if he's cheating. How do I know for sure? I'm like, you're never going to know for sure. But what you can do is say, what evidence do I have right now? And I have to live with whatever evidence I have right now, right? And of course, I think really becoming strong in the relationship to yourself gives you a very good intuition.
Yeah.
And so that's all you can use, right? You can't go back and forth with the what if. It has to be even if. Okay, even if he's cheating, so then what does that mean for you? Right? And if you don't have any evidence that he's cheating, then what does that mean for you?
Yeah.
Why are you
I think you need to patent
creating evidence?
I think you need to patent the what if to even if. If
that's patentable.
Is
that a word, patentable?
If what's her name can do a whole movement on let them, I feel like you can do a whole movement on changing what if to even if.
I mean, honestly, that's the resilience that secure people have that insecure people don't.
Yeah.
Secure people are like, okay, well, even if, I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah. I'll cope.
I will face it. Again, it's about being able to face pain. At the end of the day, secure attachment is secure people face their pain. Insecure people don't know how. They run from it. They Band-Aid it. They suppress it. They do everything under the sun except face it.
Yeah.
And you will only heal if you freaking open the door and look at the monster in the closet, which is your pain, which is your past, which is your shame, which is everything.
Which is your conscious mind, your thoughts.
Right. Yeah. It starts with your thoughts. And then the only way to change the subconscious is through experience. So if you change your conscious mind, you will bring about new experiences that will then rewire the subconscious mind, right?
So it starts with the conscious.
It starts with the conscious mind. That's right.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. That's exactly why I'm doing this episode, because you can't directly go in and change the subconscious. The subconscious only learns through your felt experiences. So if you can change your conscious mind to create different felt experiences, that's going to rewire the subconscious. And that ultimately is how attachment healing works over time and strengthens over time.
And this is exactly what Dr. Hensley teaches in her hybrid group program.
And so much more.
And so much more. And
the actual real tools and strategies to get you there quickly.
I mean, I listen to you talk on these episodes that are really scientifically based, and I'm always so enthralled and always feel like I walk away learning something from them. So I can only imagine, hopefully our listeners feel the same way, because I've been friends with her for 8 years or 7 years. We had our Facebook friendship anniversary yesterday.
I don't think I was even on Facebook yesterday.
I wasn't really either, but I saw it. It was the first thing that popped up when I got on last night. Yeah. And it was actually 7 years. Our friend's anniversary. But I mean, even after 7 years, I feel like I gained so much. I need to go back through your hybrid group again, because it's imperative. And the things that you teach and the things that you can learn,
you can change your life.
You can change your life in so many ways. And so if you are looking to learn the skills that Dr. Hensley just went over. I won't even try to replicate all the things she said. She's got that big brain energy over here. And I'm just over here like, oh my gosh, like it's just so mind blowing. Please go see her at thelovedoc.com. For all of our listeners, we offer a special promo code, LoveDoc27, for 27% off any of her courses, any of her groups, and also any of Coach Elizabeth's groups. Mm-hmm. So please go check that out. And please, while you're at it, go check out our Patreon's account. Please, we love you guys, and we love those of you that listen every week.
We are so thankful.
We're so grateful. Like this, we've said it all, that we say it all the time, but this is absolutely our favorite thing to do.
My favorite thing about what I do. And we want to grow it.
We want to grow it, and like just the fact.
So share it with your friends.
Yes,
please share it.
Yes.
Please, if you find something valuable, send the link to your friends.
Mm-hmm.
We would be honored if you shared us with your friends, because we want to ultimately help people. Help people feel better in their own skin and in their own lives and in their own relationships and with their relationship to themselves.
And feel relatable. Like we always want to be very relatable. Obviously we're best friends, but we want to be best friends with all of you too. So please go check us out and go see Dr. Hensley at thelovedoc.com. And until next time, peace, love, and perspective.